All right, so hi everyone. My name is Kristen, and I am 39 years old. I have a 3.5-year-old and a 1-year-old, and my husband and I recently moved to Connecticut after I got laid off from my job at Google X earlier this year. So we lived in San Francisco, and I was inspired by a creator named Solo and Silver to the extent that I am filming this video now. And she recommended just getting started with what you have. It's been about 6 months since I got laid off. I was laid off at the end of my maternity leave. So I actually received notice about being laid off when I had about 2 months left in my maternity leave. And that news, yeah, it was really hard to receive because it sort of changed the nature of my last 2 months of maternity leave. So I got basically like 2 months of like a heads up, like, hey, your role is going to be eliminated. I was lucky in that I had more distance between me and my work because I'd been out on maternity leave. So, I felt a lot of sadness and grief, but I also too was able to know in my body that there was like a gift in it. And that gift was that my um, my husband and I, we'd been talking about moving across the country to live closer to family because we have young kids. There was this sort of cadre of cousins, and over on the East Coast, and we'd always talked about like, oh, what if we moved there? Like, then they could grow up together, and it always felt really far away. But with the news of me losing my job, that potential path became much more feasible. So, you know, so the thing that was hard about getting laid off while I was on maternity leave is that it really changed the nature of sort of my mindset during those last 2 months of mental leave, right? Because I knew that I didn't really have a job that I was going back to. And so, I started revamping my resume. Uh, I was doing a lot of those types of, we'll say, professional housekeeping types of things. I couldn't just like finish my maternity leave like being with my baby. The thing that I do appreciate about the way that I ended up getting laid off was that I still had access to the building, to people, so I was able to like go in and say goodbye. And I didn't have any childcare, so I like brought my baby in with me. And what ended up being a win-win was I got to say goodbye to people, and baby Eden, she provided a little baby therapy to a lot of people, which it just ended up being a win-win. Now that both of my children are in daycare, I'll say I've started to like reawaken my brain, even though I've been plenty using my brain to manage a household and small children. It is one of the hardest jobs in the world, and that is coming from someone who has a lot of privilege. Have this what feels like a calling to expand myself, and I do feel like one of the ways to help me along that journey is through vlogging. So anyway, that being said, I have been feeling extremely intimidated by YouTube. There's it's a lot to learn, and pathway to success, which could be like monetization, right, or like figuring out like what your niche is, right, all of those things. There's so much unknown. But I will say that the YouTube space and content creation, most of it probably sits within it being a known unknown. So there's known unknowns, there's stuff that you don't know, and then there's unknown unknowns. And that's all the stuff that you don't know that you don't know. So a lot of that. And but I think that a lot of YouTube getting started falls within this space of known unknowns. It can be daunting. The task of starting to learn something new and just doing it consistently. So anyway, I guess that's all I have to say for now.